Hello, everyone. Welcome to UnScripted. I've been on a hiatus, but I am back. I got lost and now I am found. And today I have a very special guest with me. But before I introduce my special guest, I actually dressed up, or actually, this message is for David because David says that I am always copying him on his wardrobe and that he really gives me ideas about how to dress, etc. But I don't think so. I've always had style. But today I did copy him. I even tried to do a freaking tie. I don't even know how to do a freaking tie because men do ties and etc. And then I was reading some of the comments on David's last live where I attended, and somebody asked, if we hate men so much, why do we dress up like men? And I don't hate men. I love men. Men are amazing. But some of you men do suck, and you guys do suck a lot of balls. And with that being said, I want to introduce with me my awesome sauce guest today, Big Unk.
Did you say a lot of us suck balls and then say, and here's Big Unk?
Well, that was unintentional. It just happened that
Mm,
way.
well, good morning to you, Leslie, and good morning out to your audience. I'm Big Unk, also known as Akil. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be on this amazing episode.
Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing the show back with me today. And I have some questions for you. And also, there is so much to unpack this week. So many things. What the heck is going on with your camera? Is it
So,
dancing?
it's actually using. So if anybody knows, I am using a tracking technology that tracks my face. But the problem is when it tracks my face, it like zooms in and out all the time. So, and if anybody out there actually knows how to get that off of the iPhones, please let me know because it keeps tracking. I've Googled it like 42 times.
Are you using that cinematic mode?
Uh, I don't know. So I use the Bluetooth. It beams
Oh, okay.
and it records. So like I have a standard Canon MOS 5000, but this one it works really well when you're traveling, right? So when I
Mhm.
travel and I'm doing some reporting, like so when we were in Paris, shout outs to Team USA, got my Olympic official gear, Team USA. When I was traveling to Paris, this is how I was able to film. If you didn't see my wonderful documentary on the hot cops of Paris, please check that out. Um, Paris has the most beautiful police officers. I'm just gonna say it. They're just so beautiful. They're just so beautiful. The ladies are beautiful. The men are beautiful. Everyone's just beautiful. You know why? Because they have to walk and they actually have to, do a job. Like their cops don't sit in the car all day. Their cops are walking, getting them steps in.
So you're trying to say that the American cops don't walk or are not fit or are not good looking and eat
Yeah,
too
they're definitely
much?
not
Or
that good looking. No, no.
I've seen some really good looking,
Yeah, yeah. So you've seen a couple. Now imagine seeing like all of them.
every single one.
Even the ugly ones weren't that ugly.
So Akil, what is the height? Are they short? Are they tall?
That's the thing. There were some short kings and there's some tall kings. I mean, there were some women with the nice beards, some with like no beards. I mean, it was all over the map. There were ladies that were short. I mean, there was one lady that I actually kind of got a little scared of. She was like 6'6". No Adam's
Wait,
apple.
a lady that was short and you said 6'6".
Then
Wait,
there was a cop lady that was like 6'6", and then there was one that was like 6'2" or like 4'2". Like they were very different.
so the ladies were also good looking.
Oh, they were beautiful. Everyone's beautiful.
Your tracking thing is throwing me off. It's
It's
cool.
stay here with
Throwing
me.
me off. Like it has a mind of its own. Today
It
it's like
does. I keep saying that. I wish I knew how to turn it off. Again, if somebody knows how to turn it off, please message me because I've Googled it like 5,000 times. Let me see.
yeah, that is wild. But anywho, on the policemen from, and you said France,
Yep.
they're hot, they're good looking. So for all the ladies that are single and looking, and were there any single ones? Or did you not ask?
Um, I think I mean, so they have this thing where most of the police officers, like they're not police for like their whole lives. They don't turn like 55 and still doing the job. Most people get out after, like 15 years or 10 years. So everyone just looked relatively young, and they were all different looks. But again, they were all very attractive, and I support that.
He supports young, good looking, attractive men. Look at his eyes.
And ladies, I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate. I
So
appreciate.
just talking about them, like your eyes got super big.
Well, of course my eyes got big. I mean, I'm a guy.
Yeah, guy, of course. Okay, Akil, let's get into the nitty gritty of things. There's a lot of topics to unpack, a lot of news that happened this week. And
Yeah.
I think one of the big ones that I wanted to kind of touch base and talk about is the closure of our ports. And what do you think of that?
Well, there's not much that I can think of. One of the top officials with the ILA, the International Longshoremen, is actually a really good old friend of mine. And what
Okay.
This individual did say is that they said they are lucky that this contract went through. They are happy that the dock workers are going back to work, and that so barring any major catastrophic events, we're going to be back up and running. But here's the deal, folks. I mean, I don't think people understand what they really wanted. They didn't get, but you can't say no. And this is why it makes everybody look bad. Is that the offer that they got was not for what they wanted. The offer was for them to ensure that they were getting a 65% increase. 65% increase and on some levels for pay. Our dock workers are some of the highest paid in the world.
Yeah.
They most of them on average are making about $150,000 a year annually. So this made them look really bad. But the thing they really wanted was they wanted the same agreement that the international longshoremen have gotten in other countries, and it was a stop automation written into their contract. What occurred, and this is for history, and everyone knows I'm a big history nerd. What occurred in the past is that automation eventually blocked out the working person. So the working man who used to have a job in, let's say, the steel industry, automation made it so that certain jobs were no longer necessary, and the steel industry slowly consolidated. It stopped producing as much steel. And if anybody remembers, it hit Pittsburgh the hardest. And when I say Pittsburgh, I'm talking about like cities like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, even Portland, Oregon, Richmond, California. They all got hit significantly harder because those port cities shut down operations. And so hundreds of thousands of families lost pensions, they lost wages. Even in my hometown of Baltimore, Bethlehem Steel, when it closed, it literally closed and people were left without jobs. So they were trying to stop automation, which is so much different. Automation just takes jobs away. And a lot of the port workers had already lost many jobs. We saw it happen between 1970 and 1995. It happened, jobs lost. So it's tough, but I think that's what they really wanted. And so, hey, it's nuanced, but it does matter.
I mean, but doesn't automation help them out a little bit with, certain aspects of the work?
Well, automation can help anybody out, but in their line of work, automation means that the computer takes over the job. And that means less skill is needed. A skilled labor force is different than an automated labor force. And they would have to have retraining. And again, many of the jobs, like unloading a shipping container, used to take 25 guys. Now it takes 4 guys and a crane lift.
And is that because of the automation?
That was because of automation. But that's just now. What happens when you no longer need those 4 guys in the crane lift? Now all you need is one operator to oversee and make sure the mechanical functions don't fuck up.
So that's a plus for the businesses because they're saving money, correct?
Are they saving money or are they just turning higher profits for their shareholders?
You can see it that way. But okay, so that's understandable because
Yeah.
if you do completely make everything automated, then yes, that's going to eliminate the human element of that. But couldn't they have picked a different time though to go on strike, especially with the Hurricane Helene and then the resources and everything that's needed to
So they could have,
bring it?
they definitely could have. So I think it just happened at the wrong time. So if anyone's familiar with any union kind of collective bargaining situations, you
Yeah.
just can't go on strike. You have to go through like the full contract negotiation period, which normally takes about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. You're just negotiating your contract. Then you have to do a an appeal. So if you didn't like the contract, then you go to appeal and you say, "Hey, we don't like this contract. We're going to appeal the process." Then it goes to an arbitrator. Like literally, you sit in arbitration, and then it goes to a step, another arbitrator, and then finally you can strike. So we're talking about this has been going on for over a year. So it took over a year to get to this point, and it just happened to coincide with one of the worst hurricanes in American history.
So let me ask you another question. So do you think that what do you think of DeSantis having to step in and be like, you know what, not in my town, not in my state. I am going to take control over this because the federal government is not doing anything about it. So you guys want to go ahead and do this in a moment where we need these resources the most. So I am going to go ahead and deploy the National Guard to do the job that you guys don't want to do right now because you're going on strike, etc.
So those are scabs, number one. And let me just be very clear. In a free market, Ron DeSantis and the government doesn't step in and take over anything. That is literally a free market. The government keeps out of it. Now, see, you can't have it both ways, folks. You can't say free market and then can cry when the free market is actually like going, okay, well, fine, the workers aren't showing up. You don't hire scabs because if you hire scabs, you get your tail kicked. Like what? They fight. Am I lying? Somebody tell me if I'm lying out there in this world. If you hire a scab, you get your tail kicked.
Oh
and a
my
scab
God.
is, and if anybody, you ever seen the movie The Replacements? It was a movie about the NFL going on strike and they got these replacements. The scabs, the players that were coming in to take their jobs, they had
But
to
why
fight.
did he have to step in to try to find a solution or a resolution for something, even if it was temporarily? And the Biden Harris administration is not stepping in. Like they made it seem like they're sitting on their buttholes and doing nothing in office. Like, or do
No,
you disagree with that sentiment?
again, it goes back to there are things that we cannot do. The government cannot do during a collective bargaining disagreement. The government can't automatically come in and take over. They have to show cause for what they're going to do, or they will find themselves in litigation. So I'm not saying Ron DeSantis and the Florida folks don't have a legit reason to want to step in. What I'm
So you
saying,
don't think lack of resources, people dying, needing, etc., is not a cause for the government to step in?
because people weren't dying from lack of resources right now. Listen, FEMA and our local government should be well prepared for what is called emergency preparedness. If you are not part of emergency preparedness, then you are a complete idiot. Florida
So do
deals
you
with
think
her.
FEMA was prepared though?
Well, the Florida government needs to be prepared as well. It's their fault. Listen, if you build an entire state on a swampland,
Wait, Big Unk. How is an act of God their fault though?
can I finish?
Yeah, yes.
If you build an entire state on a swampland, like, why aren't you prepared for what may happen? If I live in the mountains in Colorado, I should be prepared for snow, shouldn't I? Right? So if you live right next to a ocean, you should be prepared for a storm. And Florida should be prepared for a storm, but they were not. Because you know why? They were too busy worried about Walt Disney and some don't say gay bills instead of being prepared for an emergency situation like we're facing right now.
So you're saying the government should be prepared for each of their states, depending on the type of weather or where they are.
Yeah, you should. So the FEMA allocates dollars every year to every state to be ready for what is called emergency responses. In some states, they use some of their emergency response funds to like purchase COVID vaccinations, or not everybody takes those, but I'm just using an example. In other states, they use emergency preparedness funds for like, hey, highway maintenance, right? Because they know that their highways have to stay clear because they might get tons of snow every year. So that is part of how they use their funds for emergency preparedness. What I'm saying is we allocate federal dollars annually to states all over this place, and they should prepare themselves. And you should prepare yourselves for what could be the most catastrophic situation possible.
But even if each state is individually needs to prepare themselves, like why aren't we also prepared as a country collectively?
So we do prepare. We stockpile supplies. We have FEMA contractors ready to go. I don't know if you've ever seen those little small houses. They're like they look like the white FEMA offices. Like they're like ready for people to like live in for temporary. They have those ready to go. The issue now becomes on how do you get those there, and that's a transportation situation that we fall into. And for much of like the North Carolina issue, it was mudslides. Most of the
what
damage
do you think
occurred days later.
The news agencies or the legacy agencies reporting that we weren't prepared as a country, or FEMA didn't even have the proper allocations because we spent a lot of money allocating to the illegal aliens that were accepted into the country by the
That's not true. That's not that's not true. Those are two different types of funds. Unfortunately, a lot of people are believing the mainstream media when they just hear it. But if you actually go look at the budgets, and you can pull them up online, you can go to US.gov, us.gov, and you can actually pull annual reports on funding allocations and how those funds are to be used. And so INS, Immigration Naturalization Services, uses funds for the immigration issue. That is not FEMA funds used for that. FEMA are the federal emergency relief funds that actually go into helping and supporting people when there is a federal emergency, and there has to be a declaration of that emergency from the governor and from the United States.
Big Unc, you don't think that the Democratic leadership is trying to sink our economy?
Nope. Why, who does that benefit?
Exactly. That's the big question. Who does it benefit?
I don't know who that. I think for me, there has to be a cost plus analysis, right? So is this going to cost us money, and what is the benefit? If we don't get that, then it really doesn't make much sense. And that's why I always say most people, when we're talking about like figuring out policy or learning how things work, it's difficult because it's very nuanced.
So you don't think that our economy has gone to shit a little bit in the last 3.5 years?
In 2020, our economy was it looked like it was booming, but it was really an inflated economy because of the COVID relief funds that had actually been implemented in the market. Everybody talks about it in crypto. They talk about they're just printing money. They're just printing money. Yeah, they were. And then by 2021, you dumped all that money into the ecosystem, and then you go, okay, COVID over, and then people were like, well, we've already raised prices, rent's gone up, like a lot of things were going on. So the economy needed to be reeled back in. It needed to be reestablished. But if you look at us compared to the global markets, our inflation has gone down more than theirs. Our inflation did not go as high as other nations. And we are actually in a better place globally. Now, I know when you're sitting at home, it doesn't feel that way. I know a lot of people, it's like, well, when I go to the store, I know that this costs more. And you're right, it does. But I think I had a friend that told me in the fight for higher wages, prices of things will inevitably go up. And that's been going on for 15 years or 20 years. And the price for in the ability to then go out and boomers who don't want to sell properties are now selling their properties at 3 times the rate they purchased them for. insurance companies are not insuring homes in places like Florida. So it's very costly for people that live down there, and that the prices that they're paying does not equate to like what they're getting. So what we're seeing across the country are the results, the direct results of stupidity.
Okay, I like what you said right there, but let me ask another question, because you've worked in the corporate world. You've worked with there's a hierarchy,
Yeah.
and there's workers where it's like you have to do a job and you have to execute that job to the best of your ability if you do want to get promoted to the next position, etc., right?
Yep.
So now, would you even say that Kamala Harris has done a great job to the best of her ability in her current position to even get promoted to become the next president of the United States? Can you honestly answer and say that she has?
You don't want my truth, do you?
I mean, give me your truth. This is unfiltered. This is unscripted.
Unscripted is this. The vice president has no constitutional authority other than to oversee as Senate president and to make any tie-breaking votes. That is it. If you take civics, if you read the Constitution, if you read any documents that relate to how the vice president is supposed to act, they serve at the pleasure of the president. That's what they do. They do not get to, if the president says, I am demanding your resignation, you will resign. That is how much power the vice president truly has. So the vice president is an advisor. They are a resource. They are someone that gives us a second in command if need be. But the vice president has no constitutional authority to do anything other than be the advisor and to serve at the will of the president. That's why Dan Quayle didn't run for president. Potato, tomato.
I have a very special guest on with us today. So everybody, please help me in welcoming the one and only David.
Well, I'm not Leslie Moda. I don't know why.
Why
I have Leslie Moda.
Let me see if I can take the names off.
How about David actually write his name down?
Well, that wasn't me, but I heard you talking
David,
so much bullshit. Say that again.
Why are you copying me today?
I'm not. First of all, I never copy anybody. I got my own style. Everybody knows that. Second, hello everybody who's tuning in. Third, hi Akil Patterson, aka Big Unk.
USA.
USA. That's right. USA.
Go Team USA.
United States of America.
We're Team USA today.
Team USA, and the Biden and the Harris administration have dropped the ball for Team USA. And it seems like they always drop the ball for the American citizen, but never for anybody outside of this country. Billions of dollars instantly sent over to Ukraine. Billions sent to other countries, but 4 to 5 days to go ahead and announce that we're giving out a $750 check to anybody who is a victim of this horrific hurricane that has caused so much damage.
Absolutely, David. It is a very sad day that the government has to give out these $750 checks and these one-time payments, which is the maximum amount legally allowed to be given out at this time.
But wait, why is it the maximum amount legally to be given out
at this time?
Like, that doesn't make sense.
So what occurred back in, do you guys remember, it's a terrible thing that happened, but Katrina. During the Katrina incident back in the 2000s, we actually had to put a limit on how much the federal government would be able to give individuals, mainly because there was a lot of people saying they were like FEMA victims. They were like, oh, I lived in New Orleans, and then they eventually were stealing money. So right now there's limitation on how much the federal government can give, but Congress that is currently run by the Republicans can give more. So if Congress wants to allocate more money to the individuals and specifically write that into like a bill. Congress, the power of the purse book lies with them.
But
And
wait,
Congress allocates that money, not the Democrats. Congress does. Congress runs the money. That's why this all doesn't make sense, is that they're yelling like Joe Biden and Democrats are giving billions of dollars. Congress gave that money away. Congress controls the purse strings. So
you're telling me this is how fucked up the system is. So let's think about this. You are stating the maximum amount of money that is allowed for them to go ahead and send out to the victims right now of Hurricane Helene, correct?
it's within budget.
Okay. You imagine within budget, but there is no budget for Ukraine, right? And the billions of dollars that's been sent there.
But again, that was Congress who allocated those funds. I'm just telling
And Congress can get their asses up now, along with Harris, okay? Because Harris is basically running this country at this point. And they don't tell me it's Biden, because he's not running anything except running maybe
running his ass
running
to
to an
sleep.
ice cream store. Okay, Harris is running this country because they want to showcase her to the United States of America and their citizens. You're telling me that we are not a priority, where we can't rip this shit up right now and say, you know what, guys, we've just suffered a disastrous event here in the South. We need to make sure we take care of these people at all costs. Fuck what the rule book says. Fuck them policies. We need to take care of our people now. This is not about being a Democrat or a Republican, independent, purple party, green parties, blue party. This is about being an American and putting Americans first. We haven't done that, Akil. Big Unk, listen to me carefully. That has not been done. Don't give me the policy bullshit, because I would say the same thing if it was a Republican in office, just like I said about Bush. There are no policies when shit like this happens. We take care of our own, because it seems like we have no problem ripping up the playbook to take care of these other countries that despise us, that literally despise us, but we feed them money. That's okay. That goes through Congress. Come on. This is the problem with the United States of America. This is the problem. This is the problem. It's a big, big problem. When you have people, these are going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, these are voters. Because come November, they will remember. They will remember how the government took care of them when their house was swept. And they now stand and shiver with their kids next to them, while reporters come there to grab a story and put a mic in their face while they're looking for food because they haven't eaten in 3 days. That, Akil, aka Big Unk, is what we need to be looking at as American citizens. Okay?
You know what, David?
Fuck the politics. Start caring about the people that live here in the United States of America. And you know what? With no disrespect, America first, you can come second. Every single country, we'll get to you. Let us finish here.
I don't disagree on many fronts, David. What I simply said is this is how it is set up. Like, this isn't conjuncture. This isn't my feelings. This is just saying, David, this is what is set up. I don't disagree that we should put more of our efforts and our resources into securing American situations in terms of stopping child hunger, homelessness, drug addiction, stopping a fentanyl crisis, things that are important to all Americans. But we come back to the exact same point every time. There are powers that be that say we need to fund Lebanon, Ukraine, Israel, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Egypt, humanitarian aid in Gaza. Like, there are so many people who keep bringing up everything else, and then they become the voices that everyone listens to, Because as someone once told me many years ago, a squeaky wheel will get the grease. Doesn't mean all the other wheels don't have problems. It's just the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so
we need to stop sending money everywhere. Okay? Tear it all up. I don't care. It doesn't matter who you name right now.
I'm just
We
throwing it
send
out.
no
that
more money
all
to
of that,
anybody,
yeah.
and we start taking care of our people. Our
Sure.
people deserve it.
Yeah,
We pay taxes, right? These
absolutely.
people, I'm going to use the example of the American people that have suffered right now
Mhm.
from Hurricane Helene, right? They pay taxes. They are hardworking American citizens who pay taxes. They should be helped at this point in time.
Yeah.
We need to, and if we have officials that are elected that are sitting there and not doing their jobs and don't have as much passion as we do, we need to get the fuck out of office and elect people who care about this country, Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care which party, but somebody with a pulse that sees the American citizens suffering and takes care of them. That's what we need. That's what we need to get back to.
Sure. You think I'm going to argue it? I'm not. I am in full agreement, David, with us helping people here in America that truly need it, from addiction to homelessness, all the stuff where like we should be doing this no matter what. But every time we try to do it before a natural disaster, it's we don't have the money. How many times have you heard that someone says, well, we just don't have the money to do that?
And 2 weeks ago,
And then they
we
said
sent
$1 billion
$350
to
million
somebody else.
to
You're like, what the fuck? We
Ukraine.
didn't have the money.
We don't have money, but 2 weeks ago, $350 million was sent off to Ukraine. But we don't have money. It's always, we don't have money for the American citizen. We don't have money for our people, but we do have a lot of money for everybody else because it benefits us by sending those millions and billions to foreign nations. It benefits us.
So
But
what
it
you guys
doesn't
are
benefit.
saying, what you guys are
It
saying
doesn't
is that
benefit us though.
the
Not us.
American people, we have to move to Ukraine or to another country in order to get American money. Is that what you guys are saying?
Well,
Because
I'm
we're
not
not
gonna
going to
say
get
all
it
that.
here in America, right?
Or
So
you got to
if-
be an illegal immigrant, a migrant that, comes over here illegally, and you'll be taken care of. I mean, you'll be provided housing. You'll be given, really good vouchers to be able to, feed yourself. And that's it. I mean, when it comes to taxes, we don't know if they're going to pay taxes or not.
Oh,
there
whoa,
are
whoa,
illegal
whoa,
immigrants that
whoa.
hold on. There are illegal immigrants that do come here, or there are illegal immigrants that do come here and they pay their taxes because they want to be here. Okay.
Yep.
Like Big Unc, I'm very fair.
Okay, because I just want to make
like
sure
a crazy ass
they actually pay
Republican.
more in taxes than us, and so I'm like, okay.
Some of them pay taxes in order to say, you know what? When it comes time, look, I came here illegally. I know I came here undocumented. I've worked here. I've paid taxes, even though I didn't need to, but I paid taxes here, and I would like to stay here.
To establish a record in good faith, yeah.
but wait, okay, so you're saying
Those
that they pay
situations
more.
happen.
Hold on, you're saying that they pay more taxes than us. Number one, if there
I didn't
are
say that.
some,
That
Big
shit's
Unc,
coming from him.
Yeah.
Big Unc. So you're saying, okay, they pay more taxes than us. Number one, how and source. Number two is like you are going to have illegal aliens here that are here completely illegally that are not going to pay taxes and haven't paid taxes. And I can testify to that, not because I'm one, but number two, then if the ones that want to be here and do things right and get on that process of trying to become legal, yeah, they're going to pay taxes, but where are you getting that they pay more taxes than we do?
So they pay more in taxes because their effective tax rate is higher because they do not reside here. And so they do pay penalties for that. And that's why, and it's part of the US tax code, that if you are here and you
But
somehow
those,
find
you're
work.
talking about the ones that were brought in by the government, right? That were let in.
Well, no, I said if you are somehow, because remember, there's a process. So if you come here and you are undocumented, right? As an undocumented person, you can say, I'm seeking asylum. And if they say that, then the government goes, okay, here's your court date.
Yeah, but those are the ones that immigration
Which can come
is
years
starting.
and years down the road.
And during that period of time,
down the road.
and during that
They're
period of
getting in here with
time,
the CBP
they are required to abide by all laws of the governing nation and to
have you seen the application? Have you seen the application to get into this country that Harris and Biden put into play? Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Have you even used it and looked at how you can get into this country?
The asylum?
Easily get into this country.
Mhm.
The CBP one allows people to just fill out a little questionnaire, take a picture, you're in. And like, that's the problem.
But that's
We
only
have
for certain countries, though. Not every country, though, can do that.
This country allows for illegal immigrants to come here and stay here and use all of our resources.
Right,
Poland
but I'm
will
saying
kick you.
certain
I was going to
countries,
say-
not every single country.
No. What do you mean? What I'm saying is
the process
anybody-
that you're saying is you're making it very easy. And I'm saying that's for certain countries because they don't allow that or they don't make it that easy for every country. Like, for example, and I'm testifying
No,
to
I'm talking
this.
about the program. The CBP one is an application that anybody can fill out to come into this country. Other countries like Poland, they're kicking you out. They're like, you are not going to stay there illegally. You're getting thrown out. Like, you can look at all these countries and they throw you the hell out. You're not coming into their country illegally. They're not going to pay for your stay. They're not allocating money for you. Like, none of that is happening. You're leaving and they will deport you. We are the only country that is like, okay, I mean, you came here illegally. You're still not documented. We're going to figure it out. We'll give you a place to stay. In New York City, they were kicking kids out of their own schools to provide shelter to illegal immigrants who found the conditions that were placed out in Floyd Bennett Field, out in southern Brooklyn. It was way too cold and windy. So they moved them all to high schools, emptied out the high schools, inconvenienced the kids that are going to school. It's insanity what we're doing. It is insanity. It's not just New York. It's everywhere. It's insanity.
It's not that crazy, David.
It is. Big Unc, it is crazy, man. We need to fix this system. This is not just about voting for Trump. And like, this is not just about that. You have, keep it 100.
The system has been broken for over 40 years. And every time someone has sat down to fix the system, David,
Walsh is a nice guy to go fishing with.
Every time someone has tried to fix this system, David, you have heard the exact same complaint department say no. The same department, no matter who it is, Democrat or Republican, says no, we can't. We don't have the ability to. We don't. No, it has been used as a political toy for 40 years. I am sick of the rhetoric coming from right or left, and I will tell you, the right uses this more than anyone else.
No,
but
the left does.
The left is a trouble as well. That
you are full of shit.
Immigrants can't be, bro. Let me tell you, you know who uses more immigrants than anyone else in this country? Red states with agricultural farms, red states with tourism. Go down to Miami,
bro. Like
when we're in Miami, everybody down there is an immigrant. 63% of the Miami-Dade
illegal immigrants are coming in from that area. Okay?
Of the Miami-Dade workforce are immigrants. 63%.
Because they're coming in through the border, which is located near Texas and Arizona.
So they're coming through the border and making their way over to Florida. They're getting down to Miami.
What do you think they can't get you think they can't get a fake ID?
David, they're not coming on. David, they're coming on a boat out of Cuba. before they're coming. They're not taking
You're making my point. They're all
what
coming
I'm
in from
saying,
the bottom
David,
of the United States
is
of America.
that everybody
southern part.
complains, but the people who are using the most immigrant populations are the red states that depend on the agricultural needs and the low living jobs that they have to do. Who picks the berries and the fruits on the farms? I don't.
American workers in the South hire American people
David,
because they're proud to make their products in America.
False.
And, no, it's not false.
The southern states have always,
you know what
they actually got mad because there weren't enough immigrants at one point to take the low wage jobs that they pay.
Democrats have ruined everything, and I'm gonna tell you how Democrats have ruined everything.
Have not ruined everything, David. That is a hyperbole. I tell you why are you so Democrat versus Republican?
Because it's always the Democrats, the insane Democrats.
David, let me ask you a question.
Was it a good idea that we went ahead and outsourced all of our manufacturing? Was that a great idea? Because it wasn't a Republican idea. It was a democratic idea to outsource to China, to all these other countries.
Didn't Donald Trump cause more countries to leave than ever before? Not me. I'm just saying, not me. I didn't do that.
Trump brought in more revenue
keep saying
into this
Democrats versus Republicans. David, we're talking about local issues. When the local issue is a Republican, you ignore it. When the local issue is a Republican,
12 out of the 16 years have been run by Democrats.
And guess what happened?
And nothing but
you've had the best economies. You know what?
Okay, guys, wait.
Tell me the best economy.
Hey, Leslie, yes.
Oh my God. Both of you, hold on. Wait. I want to, Big because you said something about the illegal aliens that are coming here for the red states and the Republicans. But did you know that in the past 3.5 years, the CBP arrested or apprehended more than 8 million illegals, and that was just in the last 3.5 years, and that's direct information from them. So how is that for the red states? And that's right now with the current office that we have. So wouldn't it make you think that they're bringing in because they want that vote and they need that vote?
I have no idea why more people are coming to this country than ever before.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't. David, I really don't.
Are you kidding me right now?
You're going to act like I'm the blame. Like, I have no idea why somebody wants to move here.
No, you saying you don't know. Like, you know.
I don't know.
Honestly, it doesn't fit in with your narrative. Like, that's why
there's nothing about narrative, David. I'm pretty direct on this comment. If this was a Republican
in office, you'd be tearing that ass apart.
David, first off, see, again, you keep going back to Democrat versus Republican. I have not brought that up at all. I said
you don't need
in the
to.
United States,
you're saying it
more
without
often
saying
than not,
it.
They use the services of immigrants.
The Democrats have allowed illegal immigrants to come into this country for a very long time. Harris is on record. Harris is on record.
Hey, David, why don't you double check and tell me when was the last time we passed comprehensive immigration reform?
Is Harris not on record?
When was the last time this government was able to pass comprehensive immigration reform? Because
we have policies in place that state. I'm going to kill your argument real quick. Are you ready? We have policies in place that state that if you would like to come into this country, you have to go through the process. Okay? My parents have gone through that process. In 1975 and in 1979, they both went through a process to come into this country. Okay? They didn't hop the fence. They didn't fly over the fence. They didn't go under the fence. They waited until they were allowed to come in. The policy is there. To look the other way is what the current Democrats have done. We will look the other way and we will figure it out.
When was the last time that we had comprehensive immigration reform?
We have rules in place. We have rules in place on how to come into this country, get your green card, and then become a U.S. citizen. We have the laws in place. They don't need to be, you don't need to take the current policies and the laws that are currently here and rip them apart and start all over again. Like, you need to come into this country legally. Now you have this app and you have this rule, the CBP1, which allows illegal immigrants to get into this country and allows them to stay here.
When seeking what? Asylum.
Well, all of them are going to say that.
And so, David, what would have been better? To not have anything?
Anybody, why don't you try out the app? You can literally, right now, as a U.S. citizen, you can just create a fake name. And you can take a fake picture and they will give you the right to come into this country. Do you know? Do you understand what I'm saying? There are so many undocumented
David, why didn't we pass? Why did we not pass the comprehensive legislation in April that would have limited at 5,000 immigrants per day? It didn't say illegals. It said 5,000 immigrants per day. 5,000 would have limited at 5,000, and that after it reached a 10,000 person maximum, would have then shut it off for 30 days. Which means no more entries into this country. Why didn't we do that?
Ask the Democrats.
Why didn't we do that?
They've been running the House and the Senate and the Oval Office for 12 years. They should know the answer, right?
Republicans, David, are running the House, and they were told directly.
Now,
David, this was in April.
Bro, do you understand?
April. April, David, get your dates right. This was in April. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera. Where'd David go?
Oh, he's out. He got.
Oh, he got mollywopped.
My camera went out.
Want to sit around anymore and discuss this?
Everybody's camera went out today.
The fire that I bring and the truth that I bring, the camera couldn't handle it.
Yeah, you guys busted my camera too. I had to go to my laptop camera.
Yeah, my camera was looking at me like it was weird.
Your camera was making googly eyes at you.
God bless America, the land that I love, stand beside her and guide her. Like, at the end of the day, we need to take care of our own people, because I can go back and forth with you. I speak facts. You speak opinions, Akil.
That was not an opinion, David.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's all fucked up right now. It's really all fucked up.
You know, I don't know. This is a very heavy topic, but not every single. David left completely. But you guys are talking about that every single illegal alien, which they're not called that anymore, right? Now they're called non-US citizens or non-citizens or whatever. But doesn't the
illegal immigrant?
But doesn't the US too? Don't they have a list of actual countries that they do allow people to apply asylum for? Like, for example, all of the people that they let in were from where? Venezuela, or what was the country? El Salvador, or where?
They were talking about Argentina.
Argentina. So now those would be easy to get in because they're seeking asylum, right? So if you had a crew coming in from Mexico, then they wouldn't qualify because they're not put on the list as an asylum country or a country that they would allow people to come in because they're seeking asylum, correct?
I don't know.
Like, they wouldn't be considered refugees.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what they're considered on this one.
Or maybe they are. I'm going to have to look it up. I just looked it up. So it says many countries receive asylum seekers, including in the United States between 2012 and 2021. China was the largest group of asylum seekers, followed by El Salvador, Guatemala, India, Honduras, Mexico, Nepal, and Cameroon. And then from 2011 to 2023, the majority of the refugees in the U.S. came from Myanmar, and the Democratic Republic of Congo or Iraq. So they haven't put for 2024 yet.
Okay. Look, again, I am not fully versed on this, so when I don't know, I am pretty much an honest man. I don't know what I don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, but I know that we're on top of the hour, and you did give me an hour, and I appreciate that because you have things to do. I appreciate David for coming on the show, but what I am going to ask you, the last question, Akil, and you're not on camera so I can see your face, but have you really completely done your research, your due diligence, and really educated yourself as to why you're choosing to vote for who you're choosing to vote?
Absolutely.
Come November.
Absolutely. I have no qualms about my decision for what I have no qualms about my decision. I believe that the person that I have chosen to vote for is a far better representation to the American values that I believe in. That is it. When people say, "Oh, Donald Trump this or Donald Trump that," it's like, you know what? I don't listen to outside noise. I listen to me, my faith, and my spirit. I have many nephews, and all my nephews say the same thing to me. Sorry, I'm getting back up and operating. All my nephews say the exact same thing to me. Oops. Oh, what just happened?
What is that?
I don't even know what that is. Oh God, what just happened?
What camera are you showing?
Oh, that is so weird. You know what? Extra camera. Here we go. All right, here. Maybe we do this. Let's see how it's still doing it. Oh God.
That is very weird.
That is so weird. There's another. Okay, open up that other video. There's like another face of me or something somewhere. That is so strange.
There we go. Better. I can't hear you on this one. This one has no sound. Wait, hold on.
Don't worry. All right, open the other one back up.
There, we can sync it like that. We'll do that.
Okay. Are we synced? Are we good now?
Yeah, we're synced up.
What I was saying is that despite what everyone thinks, I do have convictions on what I believe in. I believe that who I will vote for is because I believe in American democracy. I do not believe in hyperbole. I do not believe in fictional characters. I do not believe in Nancy Pelosi. As a matter of fact, I don't believe in any man. I vote for what I believe is American values. And that takes my effort, not anyone else's. I read the Constitution. I carry a pocket penguin version of the Constitution wherever I go. It's always in my bag. Because I always want to remind myself of my rights, my liberties, my freedoms, because most people forget. There is no unequivocally, when people say, well, it's free speech, I go, your free speech is between you and your government, not between you and I. So if I fuck you up for saying something stupid to me, that is on you and I. That is not between my government and me. So your government gives you those rights. I don't. Your deal is with your government, not individuals. Our Constitution is literally written to keep the peace among the masses. It is not an absolute everyone's gonna be happy thing. Some of you will walk away very sad. But guess what? It is the majority's responsibility to always maintain order. Our Constitution is not set up for your ego. It is not set up for your whiteness or my blackness. It is not set up for a Latino person. It is set up for civility. And what somebody represents is not civility. They represent chaos. And so for me, I'm voting for civility because that is the framework in which our Constitution was written. and in which we shall move forward with. But chaos, disorder, hate speech, white nationalists, KKK rallies, people getting shot, that is all the insanity that I am not with and that I am not supporting. And therefore, I will be voting for Kamala Harris. That's who I'm going to vote for, at least for the
So
president
do
this
you
time.
truly believe in your heart and with all your being that doesn't matter gender, she's a human being, period, that she is equipped and capable to maintain order, protect America, protect us from other countries or other people trying to invade, etc., and that
I'm
she is
sorry.
going to be well respected by other countries as a female leader?
So once again, I say this with love and attention, is that
Yeah.
I am voting for what I believe are the American values in which that I have understood from my understanding of my reading over the last 20, 30 years, and also working in the industry.
Yeah.
I do not believe everything I don't believe anything these politicians will tell you, because what's their job is to sell you on something and then decide, hey, vote for me because I sold you on what I just told you, and then to watch them not do it. It happens time and time again.
I
So
mean,
do
but
I
hasn't
believe
she
every
done that at the beginning of election when she was running with Biden? You know, she did say a lot of things that were going to take place into office, and a lot of that has not come into fruition. And then a lot of
well,
the things that
you know what?
they
Donald
did
Trump
say
said he
she was
would never
doing,
touch
she's saying
abortion, and he
again.
did. Um, I don't care. Like I keep saying, why is anybody trusting these people? They're not trustworthy. Think about the ego you have to want to think that you are the smartest person in this country and that you can lead everybody to happiness. That is a falsehood. That is putting your faith in a man or a woman before you put your faith in God. And to be honest, no man or woman is going to make any of your lives better. So guess what? I make a conscious decision to say, here are my options. I'm going, and it will always be the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. No matter who you vote for, no matter when you vote, it will always be the lesser of two evils because people will compromise their internal values for expediency. People will compromise values for political expediency. And so I make a conscious decision to vote for somebody who I believe is on the same plane to make our country equitable and to make sure that everyone has the same opportunities. And unfortunately, Donald J. Trump doesn't do that for me. He just doesn't. Sorry, it is what it is. I'm going to vote for Kamala, but that's my vote. Your vote can be different. Other people's can be where their votes are. I'm not going to be a crybaby about it. What I see over here in these comments are more tears about things that nobody can control. I can't control what happens in Israel. I can't control what happens in the South Sudan. I can't control what happens in Russia. I can't control what happens in the Ukraine. Those are sovereign nations in which we have no power or authority over, and we should not be engaged in all of their stuff. But I can control who I vote for. I can control who I believe will uphold a majority of the values that I believe. And that's what I will do. I'm going to vote for who I believe in that will uphold the values I think are important to this nation to continue on. Because, we're coming up on that 250-year benchmarker. And most countries do not last beyond that. Democracies have been fragile at best. And so it takes time. And there sometimes are moments where you have to reform your governments. You have to rethink what you are doing because what once worked for everybody may no longer work for everybody. And we have to say, okay, maybe we need to change something. So that's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris, because I believe in the civility of our nation, and that is our government's responsibility to us.
With that being said, everybody, thank you for tuning in for an episode of Unscripted. Big thank you for coming on. DG, thank you for coming on. I would love to have you back again, talk more politics, and stimulate some of our minds here in the crypto space. And like you said it, put your faith, trust in God, and make a wise decision that is best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow your heart. Don't follow a man. Follow God.
Thank you again, Unc. Pleasure having you.
Bye-bye. Make sure you follow Big Unc, like, follow, and subscribe. Deuces.